Praveen, thank you so much for joining me. I understand that you're in enterprise delivery for UniSuper. Could you just give us a bit of background about what that actually entails day to day?
Sure. So UniSuper carves out a set of amount of money to transform the organization every year from our overall budget. I'm not going to give you exact figures, but let's say it's 50, 60 million. And that, I'm the custodian of that money. And me and my team deliver all the projects which has been taken out for that. So let's say we have 60 million, we give 5 million to a data platform, 7 million to migrating to the cloud. So we have multiple projects, delivering those projects, governing them through the year. That's the role that my team and me play.
And I saw that you were Fund of the Year as well. So obviously there's some things that you do differently to other superannuation funds. What's the advantage in the way that you deliver enterprise services and value to customers and to employees that really separates you off?
See, obviously we have lesser complexity than some of the other big funds, but what we have done well and what I think works really well for us is it's the way we prioritize our projects and the way we track the benefits for them. Because these two are done really rigorously, and therefore, the best projects come up with the which have the biggest bang for the buck, and we get returns. We track the returns quickly. So I'll talk about the benefits framework, but later. But first, what we look at is the list of projects, and everything is put up there. There's no buckets of money being given to everyone. So there could be IT projects, there could be business projects, and they just rank the projects based on the value. Like last year, the biggest project for us was to actually merge with ACS. Because the minute we did that, we made money, our revenue increased immediately. So that was top priority. And we prioritize the projects like that, and the top 5 priorities are overseen at every level. So there's also focus, our CEO, execs, everybody manages that. The second part is once we have that priority, very rigorously we track the benefits. Now I'm not going to say that we're the best, but now that I've been in this type of jobs for 7-8 years, I think we're getting to a reasonably mature state. What APRA has done is they have said that you need to have financial best interest duties. It's a regulation which we have aligned our benefits framework to that. And we look at risk-based benefits, cost efficiencies, all of that. And the projects are tracked on whether they're delivering it or not. And that's our CFO's remit. She looks at the business cases, she looks at the benefits, she has people looking at that. I think those are 2 big success areas. Obviously, as a delivery guy, I can tell you we deliver projects well and all, but outcomes is what matters from a fund perspective. So it's the benefits and how we prioritize. Yeah.
That's interesting because project prioritization is something that we've written quite a lot about at Adapt. On the face of it, it's quite simple, but there's a lot of complexities because there's different departments that might be competing for budgets or trying to elevate their projects. So how do you go by the prioritization? Yeah. Who actually decides which is the most important initiative?
Great question. Huh? Okay, so if you go by classic prioritization models, I might sound a little silly here, but most of them are crap. Okay, it's because they are very academic.
Yes.
And they are, end of the day, it's like data. You say everything must do, everything will be must do. Okay. So what happens is setting a portfolio is a bit of art and science, and it has to be done more with culture rather than competing with each other. What's right for the organization? So for us, when leadership changed, when Peter Chin came, he got the ELT to sit down together and look at all projects and prioritize them based on what's the need for the organization. And we put tech projects into the mix, we put business projects into the mix, and we use the same benefits and we see what's the biggest bang for the buck and what are the things we need to do. And the organization then does the prioritization. So there's no real competing. There is, to an extent, but it is clearly consensus on these are the best things for us to do as a fund for this year.
And when you talk about the best bang for buck, obviously revenue is a really good metric to go by, especially when you're a super fund, you want to give returns to the people invested in it. What are some of the other metrics that you use to measure the value of a project?
Yeah, so cost saving. Like for instance, some of the digital transformations we're doing, like withdrawing your super, withdrawing your pension, requires a lot of back-end operations at the moment, because most digital in many companies these days are just paper-based forms made digital in the front end. It still
Correct.
falls on someone's lap and someone's typing it from, We have actually straight through processed some of those things. That has a lot of cost savings, because 8 people are processing super withdrawals. Now it's straight through process. Can we bring that down to 2 or 3 or repurpose them for other things, So that's one of the other metrics, revenue and cost saving. We also look at risk. We also look at, projects which will reduce risk, reduce exposure. So there's lots of money spent behind cybersecurity, potential threats, keeping up to date, because some of the capabilities, you also need to look at it from an industry standard. Like, let's take security for a moment. We follow a standard called NEST, which is a capability which you need to be on a scale of 1 to 4. So for a superannuation fund, we get so many number of people trying to hack into our system. So what do we need to do to keep that capability high so we can reduce those hacks? So that's another measure. Okay, so you keeping our members safe, avoiding the risk of losing money, financial crime. So those are broad buckets: revenue, cost saving, risk. Those are some of the buckets we look at. Yeah, and we track it once a quarter, and it's presented up to the board also. Yeah.
How about modernisation? Because UniSuper has been around for a long time. A lot of the things that we hear about financial organisations that have been around for a long time, they have these old core legacy systems that inhibit transformation, they inhibit being secure and delivering value. How are you approaching that problem? Is that something that you've managed to accomplish, or is it something that you're currently doing?
We will keep doing. Okay, so there's no way we'll ever accomplish that, because all these core repository systems, which are the systems which store our members' data, etc., are being continuously updated, but they're legacy software. Until we actually make some productivity hacks, like take stuff out of it and build it around it, like for instance, we have all our correspondence in it, take it out, put it in a comms platform, reduce the load on it, that's going to take some time. And we have a roadmap next 3 to 5 years. Again, it's prioritized based on value, but that's something ongoing. We keep on trying to do. Like this year, we'll definitely improve our insurance design and move some of the things that we do in that system to another system. We'll do away with our that core repository systems data warehouse. We'll use it on our data lake. So we're making some changes, but incrementally. So modernization is very important, but you still need to look at it from the benefits and the value, because if you hear the NSW services guys say, you can get into these 5-year modernization projects which are too big, too large, and no one sees the value at the end of it.
Yeah, NSW, Service New South Wales is really interesting, because when COVID hit, it's like a switch flicked in that organisation. All of a sudden they've got COVID safe check-in apps up in 6 weeks. Digital driver's license has an 87% uptake.
Yeah.
And it's a historic organisation. It's a big organisation that's been typically resistant to change. I think there's a lot that people can generally learn from that.
Yeah.
But we also got to be able to take it out of a crisis, right? We've got to be able to sustain that innovation. Where do you see the innovation going with superannuation? Are there going to be, there's a lot happening at the moment with generative AI, different types of artificial intelligence and data initiatives. Is there something on the horizon that excites you?
That is, we have a couple of things for us. Superannuation is specifically industry funds. We philosophically just used to manage the industry, so we never competed for business. So universities gave us money, we took it. Now we have to compete. So now we're starting to look at modernization and doing things to become better. Where I see it going in the years to come is we'll make it very easy for you to interact with your super at the highest level. Okay, so you'll do everything online, everything will be seamless. You don't have to speak to us. Okay, that is the plan. And you will speak to us, and when you speak to us, it will be more around retirement plans and advice and those type of things. It will be quality conversations, not transactional.
Yeah.
And we are making a step to that. Not just us, everybody in the industry is thinking about that.
I think if you can do that with the automation and the visibility and make it feel personalized at the same time, this is my super fund, you know, this is my retirement nest egg, that would be an amazing value add to consumers, right?
Yeah, like because UniSuper is one of the best pension funds in the market today. Our CEO has made a promise saying that we need to be the Netflix in retirement. Of course, it's driving us nuts in the IT team, wondering what that is. But
of course, what does that even mean?
So we're working through that. You know,
Yeah.
the plan is at some stage, like right now, we just launched the best retirement calculator. So you can actually calculate how much money you need to save, how much money you need, how long you can be on your super before you go to age pension. So we've just lifted that in us. The eventual goal is you use that calculator and you make your plans and you make a digital statement of work. So it's straight through. So stuff like that is on the horizon, and most funds are already thinking about that. So I go back to what I said, you know, that is, we want to make it easy for you guys to work with us without talking to us. And if you want to talk to us, it should be quality conversations.